Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream. And tomorrow afternoon, Frank Lampard returns to Stamford Bridge for the first time since being announced as caretaker manager as Chelsea take on Brighton in what would have been the Graham Potter derby if he hadn't been sacked. But, you know, it's Lampard up against De Zerbi. Chelsea-Brighton going to be a really tough game. Will Chelsea finally hit 40 points? Mudryk going to start? What's going to happen? Is Lampard going to go Kepa or Mendy? Chelsea have been in talks with Ruben Amorim, the Sporting Lisbon manager, as well. There's plenty to get into, as always. So people, make sure you get involved in the chat. Make sure you smash the likes on the stream. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. On the road to 3,000 subscribers. So every new subscriber will massively help me. We're almost there now. Less than 300, guys. Let's get this done by the end of the season. But yeah, as I said, let's kick things off with the managerial search. And, gone a little bit quiet recently in terms of it was obviously Nagelsmann and Enrique, the front runners. And then an article coming out not so long ago, in the last half hour or so, Jacob Steinberg of The Guardian, up on the screen now. It's not very long. I'll just quickly read through it. Here we go. So, it's just basically saying that Chelsea have held talks with Ruben Amorim, the Sporting Lisbon manager. So Chelsea have held talks with Sporting's Ruben Amorim as they continue their search for their next permanent manager. Nagelsmann and Enrique have been touted as the early front runners for the vacancy at the Bridge, but Chelsea determined not to act hastily following the abrupt dismissal of Graham Potter. They've got a short list of managers. One of them is Ruben Amorim, obviously 38-year-old, won a Portuguese title with Sporting. He's done pretty well this season. But the important thing to remember here is that, there's no indication that Amorim is the favoured choice of Chelsea ownership, equally, he would have to be convinced that moving to Chelsea would represent the best move for his career. Amorim, whose contract contains a large buyout clause, has said that he will choose his next job carefully. Chelsea have previously held talks with Enrique and have made contact with Nagelsmann's reps. Nagelsmann is admired by Bedadik Bali, but while the 35-year-old German is interested in moving to the Premier League following his second Barcelona, there's no guarantee he will land the job. He's also wanted by Spurs. Chelsea are also monitoring Pochettino, Frankfurt's Oliver Glasner, Bayer Leverkusen's Xabi Alonso, and will need to move quickly as Real Madrid and PSG could be looking for new managers in the summer as well. So that's kind of where we're at, really. I guess that's a bit of an update there in that regards. Luis Enrique, let's have a look here. Luis Enrique now favourite to take over for pre-season. I wouldn't say so. I mean, it's so, look, without being privy to any of the conversations, it's impossible to tell. Chelsea is still yet to meet Nagelsmann in person. They've met Enrique in person. He's done his presentations, whatever other business they do in these meetings. And yeah, I personally, I'm on the Nagelsmann train. That's where I'm at. But at the same time, I don't know. I just think that maybe he's just better suited. My concerns with Enrique come for the fact that he's not managed a club for 6 years. And then if you take out Barcelona, when you have Messi, Suarez, Neymar, one of the best Barca teams of all time, yes, that body of work's not to be discredited, but it's not. It doesn't give you a rounded view of how good a manager he is, because it's very much a bubble in that Barcelona situation. You have to go back to his previous work. So you would look at what he did at Roma. Enrique wasn't great. Work at Celta Vigo was slightly better, but this is a long time ago. The work with Spain, his most recent work, not great, if we're being brutally honest. Yes, they got to the semi-finals of the Euros, but every one of their knockout games went to extra time or penalties, and they were terrible in the World Cup. So I'm not saying he's a bad manager. Yes, he's got a bit of an aura about him. He's got a bit of swag about him. But in terms of, does he tick the boxes of what Chelsea are looking for? Yes, he'll definitely tick some. But I just feel, for me personally, that Nagelsmann ticks more boxes than Enrique does. But it does appear that these two at the moment are the front runners. But in terms of Ruben Amorim, yeah, the Sporting Lisbon manager, I'm not going to, sit here and pretend that I know loads about him, but I know that, he's a very good, young, up-and-coming manager. He's done great work with Sporting Lisbon, taking them to the title in 2021. They had a decent Champions League campaign. They didn't make it out of the group. They knocked Arsenal out of the Europa League. They're still banging their tie after last night's 1-0 defeat to Juventus in the Allianz away from home. So, yeah, again, another exciting young up-and-coming manager. And I think, you have to look at it and think, Chelsea aren't getting a big-name manager, as in like a quote-unquote big-name manager, like a Mourinho or a Conte or whatever. We're going to get someone who's got experience at the highest level, who's won some trophies, and who is widely regarded within the game and has got a lot of growing to do as a manager, but can grow into that. It's got potential as well. So that's what Chelsea will end up going for. But yeah, look, I think it's great that we're holding talks with other managers. We're doing our due diligence and we're sounding out multiple candidates. Just like, I don't want to see people losing their shit because, oh my God, Chelsea is talking to Amorim, or they're monitoring Glasner at Frankfurt, or they're looking at Xabi Alonso. Like, these guys are very unlikely, well, highly unlikely to get the job. We're just doing our due diligence and getting things right, because if we're being perfectly honest, what the owners have done so far, the intention's great. I really like what they've done in the transfer market. I like the football department they've put in place beneath them. Recruiting the best in class there, recruiting the best in class on the pitch, although the results aren't there right now. But the decisions that they've made so far this season have been wrong, or they've got it wrong. I mean, and when I say they've got it wrong, what I mean is that I'm not saying they necessarily got the decisions wrong, but the timing of the decisions is totally wrong. In pre-season that Thomas Tuchel's not your guy. Get rid of him before the season starts. Don't allow him to have a transfer window and then a few games at the start of the season with the players having gone through a pre-season under him, and his way of playing is very different to Graham Potter's way of playing. Don't then sack him in September. If you've let Tuchel start the season, unless the results are utterly terrible and we're really struggling, we were struggling at times, but nowhere near as bad as it's gone on to be like subsequently, give him to the World Cup, and then that's the first poor decision. The second poor decision is you should have sacked Graham Potter months ago. There's no point sacking Graham Potter with 10 games left, because as we're seeing, bringing someone in for the last 10 or so games is actually making no difference. Lampard's not going to do any better than I know Lampard's still got games left, but for me, Lampard, I know we're basing it off 2 game sample size, and Lampard could win the next 5 or 6. I mean, unlikely, but obviously could. I know we're basing it off a small sample size, but the reality of the situation for me is that when you get to a point, unless you're struggling to stay in a division and like you're so scared of the drop, and any change or any new manager bounce you can possibly get is going to be of benefit, you just think, well, how much worse would it have been to stick with Potter than it would have been to stick with Lampard? Yes, it's removed the toxicity from the fan base, but at the same time, it's just like, well, we're still shit and we're still not playing good football and we're still losing football matches. So from a purely footballing perspective, replacing Graham Potter with only 10 games to go doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So whilst the owners have done a lot of good things, you have to question their timing of the big decisions they've made. And they haven't got the big decisions right, which is why this decision now is so important to get that right, because we cannot afford, in theory, in essence, we've essentially wasted 7 months of the quote unquote project when, we should be 7 months into it, when in reality, we're not really any further down the line than when we first started this. Yes, we've massively overhauled the squad. There's still work to do, but this appointment's crucial. You have to get this one right. And I'm fully aware that when owners come in, you're going to get things wrong, particularly at the start when you're learning on the job. But it's vital now, the football people in place, let them go and do their due diligence, let them go and do their work, and then make the right decision based on what they say. And that way, we can make sure that we absolutely get the right man. And let me also make it clear as well that actually, let's say we appoint Nagelsmann, and we think he's the right man. He ticks all the boxes. He impressed in the interviews and whatnot. Let's also make it clear that there's no guarantees that just because we've appointed the right man, that means he's going to do well. You've got to be given time. And this is where, as a fan base as a whole, we've got to be patient. We can't just keep going. People going, oh yeah, great, really want Nagelsmann. Everyone wants Nagelsmann, or a vast majority want Nagelsmann. And then he comes in and has a bit of a tricky start, loses a few games, goes on a bit of a bad run. As a fan base, we have to give him time, as much time as possible, to turn it around without being without making things toxic, without then, going, oh, we need to get rid of him. We have to remove ourselves from this mindset that the manager has to go the first time we lose a few games. That we can't keep operating like this. So this is why this is so important. But it's also fundamental as fans that, yes, we have a right to express ourselves and a right to vent our opinions. At the same time, we have to accept that, one, Chelsea aren't at the standard that they used to be at. We're not as good as we used to be. We're getting there. We're rebuilding. Every club goes through a bit of a rebuild phase. Hopefully we're not in the doldrums for too long, but you see Arsenal do it. You see Liverpool do it. You've seen United are still doing it. Every team will go for a rebuild phase. So we just have to be patient and not throw our toys out the pram when things don't go well for the first time under the new manager, because they won't go well. But yeah, as it is right now, no real update other than the fact that Chelsea have held talks with Sporting Lisbon's Ruben Amorim. But in terms of, things progressing any further down the line with a view to a permanent appointment getting any closer, it doesn't particularly look like a permanent appointment is getting much closer. But, as long as something's announced before the end of the season, that is the most important thing. But yeah, guys, keep smashing the likes on the stream for me, please. Let's get those likes up. Let's try and double it now. We're on 7. Let's get that to at least 15. Let's get that to 20. So keep smashing those likes, people. Get them up. It does really help me. We're only on 7. We can do much, much better than that. Let's get those likes up, guys. Let's get it. Let's try and get this to 20 likes as our first point of call, people. So we're on 8 now. Keep smashing the likes, guys. We'd really appreciate it. Let me get to a few things in the chat then. What have we got going on here? When do you think the final decision? I've got no idea. I'd be like, for me personally, I would like a decision made before the end of the season. So an announcement made that so-and-so is going to be taking over from June. I think that's important we do that, because as it said in the article, Real Madrid and PSG could both be likely to be looking for new managers, and they're going to be looking in the same pool of managers as we're going to be looking in. And if you're faced with the choice of Chelsea or Real Madrid, you're going to be choosing Real Madrid because of the history and the prestige. You don't say no to Real Madrid as a manager. You don't say no to Real Madrid as a player. It's just the prestige and the aura that they carry as a football club and their standing in the football world. So for me personally, I think we need to get a pre-agreement in place for someone to take over in the summer, in the next few weeks, ideally. That would be my preference. But again, as long as we get what we want, and we take our time and we do our due diligence, then I trust the people in charge to make the right decision at the end of the day. But my preference would be Nagelsmann, and my preference would be for it to be done and announced as soon as possible. Like that's got to be the preference. Get this done as soon as possible without rushing it. That's the key. Don't rush it, but get it done as quickly as you possibly can. Let me get to a few more bits in the chat then, people. What have we got going on here? Chelsea beat Brighton if we go with this lineup: Fofana, Silva, Badiashile, James, Enzo, Kante, Chilwell, Mount, Aubameyang, Mudryk. Maybe. Look, I'm not. I'll get into the team. I'll get into the lineup a bit later on in the stream, but I'm not against that lineup at all. I'm really not against that lineup at all. Neither Enrique or Nagelsmann are a guarantee. No, this is what people need to understand, or what people are failing to understand, is that, you can be the best manager in the world. You could be Pep Guardiola coming into Chelsea at the start of next season. There's no guarantees that you're going to do well at Chelsea, or you're going to do well anyway. Yes, certain managers will come with a bit more of a guarantee because of what their CV says, but ultimately, you're only as good as your last job. So when you come in, it's a fresh start. And there's no guarantees that any manager is going to come into Chelsea and kind of hit the ground running and make an instant impact, or even be a success. You just don't know. You really don't know. Felix is selfish. We'll get into this later. Neither Enrique. Oh, no, I've just done that. I did see those quotes. Ancelotti saying he was staying. He's hardly going to come out and say he's leaving. I mean, he might not be lying, but I mean, Brazil want him as their national team coach. Whether he'll stay at Real Madrid and do a dual national team and club job there, I don't I don't really know. Mourinho was a guarantee. He was a guarantee. I look at Jose now, and there'd be no guarantees for me that he wins something at Chelsea. That's just my opinion on the situation because of where Chelsea are right now and because of where Mourinho is right now in his career. Still a fantastic manager. I love the guy. My favourite Chelsea manager, probably my favourite manager of all time. But Mourinho is not a guarantee right now. Yes, he does win trophies, and yes, he'll do well, but I don't think we can say he'll guarantee us. Yes, it'll be a high chance, but ultimately the game's moved on. Yes, he's doing a good job at Roma, but his last 2 jobs in the Premier League, United was a success to start with, and then it kind of petered out, and Tottenham was a bit of a disaster, really. So yeah, I'm not so sure on that one, but yeah, the sooner the better with the managerial appointment. That's just what's got to happen. Just get this managerial appointment done as quickly as possible. How tall am I? I mean, I don't know. This is a weird. I am 5'10", 5'11", I think. Yeah, 5'10", 5'11". Not quite 6 foot. If that helps your question, I'm not really too sure why you'd like to know that, but yeah, that's how tall I am. Do you think we'll beat Real Madrid at Stamford Bridge? No. Is the simple answer to that one. No, I don't think we'll beat Real Madrid at Stamford Bridge. But can we? Yes, but we need an absolute miracle, We'd need a miracle. The fact is we haven't scored one goal we haven't scored a goal in the last 4 games. And I think it's a big ask to ask us to score fucking 3 goals in one match, and we've not scored once in the last 4. So yeah, I don't know. Miracles can happen, as Frank said, magical nights can happen at the Bridge. But yeah, I think with all the magic in the world, I'm pretty sure that we won't be turning that one over. But I'll get into that in a bit more detail on Sunday night when I preview the Real Madrid second leg. But yeah, quick answer to that is no, I don't think we will do it. That you might call me negative, but I'm just being realistic in my views there. Yes, I'd love us to do it, of course I would, but the reality of the situation is that we're not good enough. Simple as that. Let's talk goalkeepers, because that's a bit of a hot topic at the moment. Let me just bring this tweet up. Where are we? So Nizar Kinsella in a Standard was reporting today that Frank Lampard is considering a goalkeeper switch on Saturday as Chelsea begin their search for a new long-term number 1. Mendy could replace Kepa in the sticks, and Chelsea are targeting the likes of David Raya at Brentford, Inter's Andre Onana, and Dortmund's Gregor Kobel. No, I've got pics with a lot of players, but I don't have a picture of Mason Mount. So yeah, that's not going to help you. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could, if you went on Wikipedia, you'd be able to find Mason Mount's height. I don't think Mason Mount's height is a mystery. I think it's probably something that's quite well known. But no, I don't have a picture with Mount. I mean, I would like to add one to the collection, but no picture with Mount as of yet. Most of the team from Madrid won't play tomorrow. Yeah, Frank was saying that the guys that didn't play against Wolves and didn't feature against Madrid are going to have a chance to impress in this game, which makes me think there could be quite a lot of changes. Well, not a lot of changes, at least 3 or 4 changes. But let's wait and see on that. I've got an idea of what players that I would like to feature, but obviously that I don't know if Frank will view things in the same way or not. Now, Madrid aren't scared of us at all. It was so easy for them. It was so easy for them. It really was. It was a bit embarrassing, really, on our behalf. But yeah, that's the way it goes. Guys, keep getting those likes up. Let's get it to 20 likes, people. If you've not smashed a like and you're tuning in now, keep hitting those likes, guys. I know I'm going on about it, but it does really help me, and I'll keep going on about it until we hit the 20 people. So let's get that done. Let's get it up to 20, guys. Right, let's talking about goalkeepers. Yes, Peslord, big up. Should give Mendy a run out. Season's over. The way I see this is that ultimately, at this point in the season, it's going to make zero difference. The season's done. There's nothing to play for in the league. Yes, we want to be winning games, but whether it's Kepa or Mendy in goal, I don't think it makes any difference, particularly to us winning or losing games. So I wouldn't be against the switch. You can argue it both ways. Making a switch is not going to make much difference. Leaving it the same is not really going to make too much difference. So I'm either or on this one. I really don't mind if Mendy plays, and I don't mind if Kepa plays. That's just the reality of the situation. But I think what is clear is that neither of these goalkeepers, in my opinion, are good enough to be Chelsea's number one. That Mendy's shown that he can put together a very good run of form, and he was really important during the Club World Cup, during the Champions League run, etc. But ultimately, I just look at him and I think his rise was massive. His decline has been unbelievable as well. From the heights that he was at to where he is now is a madness. It really is. I'm really quite surprised. I mean, I wasn't expecting Kepa to kind of make a comeback like he has, but then as equal, I wasn't expecting Mendy to be having a decline as big as he had. So realistically for me, yeah, look, if Frank makes a change, no problem. If he doesn't, no problem, because we're at the point of the season now where this is not going to make any difference, and these guys are not these guys are not significantly worse than each other. So, Kepa's got things that he's better at than Mendy. Mendy's got things that he's better at than Kepa. And I just think right now it really doesn't make too much difference at all. In terms of goalkeepers for the summer, though, and it's going to be interesting to see what we're going to do. I don't envisage us selling both these guys, but if good offers come in, then we could well do so. But in terms of a replacement, like obviously out of those names you've been linked with, I'd probably be looking at Onana or Gregor Kobel. But for me personally, like if we can, and we must try, like Mike Maignan, as DJ Virgo said in the chat here, Maignan for me it would be my number one choice for the Chelsea goalkeeper jersey. Like Mike Maignan at AC Milan, fantastic goalkeeper, having a great season. He's now the France number one because Hugo Lloris has obviously retired following the World Cup. Just a really class, top level goalkeeper. Good in all aspects of the game. Maignan would be my replacement. I just look at these other guys and I think David Raya is just a tall Kepa. I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way, but he is not a significant upgrade on what we've already got. Let's be clear about this. If we're looking to upgrade our goalkeeping position, then we need to be bringing someone in that is significantly better than what we've already got. Not just a little bit better than what we've got, but significantly better than what we've got. David Raya is not significantly better than Kepa, and he's not significantly better than Mendy. Onana, I do like him. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. And I'd say he would be better than both of those. Kobel, again, I've not watched an awful lot of him, highly regarded in the Bundesliga. Did quite well in the first leg, obviously missed the second leg in the Champions League against Chelsea. We're looking at, out of those three, I'd pick Onana. But for me, we need someone that is going to represent a significant upgrade, because the goalkeeping positions is so important. We've been blessed in the years. Kudachini, Cech, Courtois, and now we're in a situation where we haven't got the best pool of goalkeepers to pick from. But that's just how it goes right now. And let's hope that we can address the goalkeeping situation, because right now we don't have a spine. We've got no world-class goalkeeper. We haven't got a world-class six, and we don't have a world-class centre forward. The whole spine of the team is missing, and that's part of the reason why we're massively struggling. Another part of the reason is we lack experience. We lack leaders on the pitch as well. So when you couple all those things together, you can quite clearly see why we are struggling so much. So yeah, Maignan for me, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, guys, get involved in the chat. Who would you like to see as Chelsea's new number one goalkeeper if we do end up signing one in the summer? For me, Maignan, but from the list, I'd go Onana. But yeah, guys in the chat, let me know your thoughts on who you would like Chelsea to get as their new keeper. Milan will ask for 80 million. We know Italian clubs. I mean, look, we don't know what Milan will ask for. Yes, he's one of their prized assets, and they will obviously ask a lot for him. I don't know what the contract situation is with Maignan. I don't know when his contract expires, but he would be my choice. Pickford, good goalkeeper. I don't massively rate him. I don't think he's good enough to be a Chelsea number one, and I don't think he represents a significant upgrade on either of the two goalkeepers we've got. Plus, yes, I know contracts don't mean an awful lot in football, but he did just recently sign a new 5-year contract at Everton. He does seem happy there. But if the club were to get relegated, then of course that would bring up a whole host of different questions in regards to his future. Arsenal or City, who would you rather win the league? Oh, City all day long. No, absolutely no to Arsenal. Yes, for the neutral perspective, it's a nice story, but from a Chelsea perspective, absolutely no to Arsenal winning the league. We should let the new manager decide on the goalkeeper he wants and go for it. Yeah, look, I think these are going to be general conversations at the moment, but the new manager, I think, will also shape the recruitment as well. But I think the idea behind the recruitment drive is that, we're gonna bring players in that almost all managers would want to work with. We're not going to be bringing in players specifically to tick the boxes that manager to that certain manager's style, because the way that we go through managers, or have gone through managers is, you want players that are going to be serviceable under multiple different managers. Yes, managers are always going to have their preference, but I think we want to build a squad of players where a manager comes in and they're not like, oh, I don't want half of these. You were going to get players where you can just use, multiple managers would like to use them. I think that's the most important thing for me on that one. So yeah, for me, that would be my choice, Magnan. But let's wait and see what we do in the goalkeeping market. It's going to be. The problem with the goalkeeping market is, like, when you're looking for a number one, you're looking for a world-class goalkeeper, you are shopping from the smallest list imaginable. Like, if you look at goalkeepers now and you're thinking Jan Oblak, you're thinking Mike Maignan, you're thinking Ter Stegen, you're thinking Donnarumma, that's four world-class goalkeepers. You're not going to get Donnarumma out of PSG. And, like, I think I said this a while back on another stream, if we can't get who we want, whether that's Onana, whether that's Maignan, whether that's Kobel or whatever, then let's wait a little bit maybe. And why not try going with a veteran stopper for a couple of seasons to plug a gap until we can get who we want? Someone like a Keylor Navas, for example, on loan at Nottingham Forest now, with surplus to requirements at PSG, has been a phenomenal goalkeeper over his career and would represent an upgrade on what we've got at the moment in Kepa and Mendy. And for a season or two, I see no issue with bringing in a veteran stopper, whether that's a Navas, or I would say a Manuel Neuer. But if Nagelsmann ends up taking over, Neuer is off the cards, because Neuer and Nagelsmann didn't get on well during the time at Bayern. But I think a veteran stopper could be a route to go down as well if we can't get exactly who we want. Because at the end of the day, looking at the keepers we're linked with, experienced, yes, good. Potential, yes. A significant upgrade on what we've already got? No. And that's the most important box that needs to be ticked, a significant upgrade on what we've already got. 1-3-2-4. I mean, what you on about there? Like, as in 1 as the goalkeeper, back 3, 2 in the middle, 4 up front. That's I'm not really quite understanding that. Oh, it's explained here. Felix as a striker, Madueke right, Mudryk left wing, Havertz as centre forward. Oh, maybe. Mendy deserves a second chance because Kepa makes a mistake in high-level games. We make replacement for both of them. I'd like to be Mike Maignan. Yeah, Mike Maignan, Magic Mike is my guy. So, yeah, Magic Mike for me to be the new Chelsea number one. That's what I'd be endorsing. That's what I would like to see happen. Is that going to happen? No, probably not going to happen. By the way, guys, keep getting those likes up. We're still only on 12 people. And there's 20 of us in here pretty much. Let's get those likes up, guys. Let's get the likes to 20 people. Keep smashing the like button. It's free. It takes you seconds and it really helps me out. And I would massively, massively appreciate it. Let's have a look what we've got here. Mendy deserves a second chance. Oh, yeah, I've already just done that. Yeah, this is going back to my point, EPL Turf. We need to now buy only based on need. Yeah, for sure. And I think we will. It's obvious what we need right now. Goalkeeper, 6. Centre forward. Address those 3 positions, and then we can discuss luxury purchases like Joao Felix or whoever else we may be interested in looking at. But until we have addressed the positions that we need to address, I don't want to hear us going after players that we don't need, quote unquote. Address the situation, address the gaps in the squad, and then go after other players, which would be an additional luxury. We've got to prioritize the squad planning, and the squad planning over the years has been absolutely shocking. So we need to get our shit together and we need to plan properly. Yes, we've already got Nkunku done. We've got Malo Gusto coming. So that's a sort of a second striker in. That's then a backup right back in. Done. Tick, tick. Part of the midfield revamp's done in Enzo. Tick. Wide players, we may well see a wide player coming in. If Pulisic and Ziyech leave, there could be room for another one more wide player to come in. I don't know who that would be, but yeah, that needs to happen. Oh yeah, no, I do know exactly who you mean. It's the Valencia keeper. He's Georgian. I can't remember his name, but if Valencia get relegated from La Liga, which I can't believe I'm saying this, is a distinct possibility. They're in the relegation zone in La Liga. Then I think there could be a lot of players up for sale there for sure. So Valencia goalkeeper from Georgia. I'll be honest, I've never watched him play, so I can't really pass judgment. But by all accounts, he's pretty good. No, absolutely zero chance that Selena will play tomorrow. Zero chance. Both our keepers have big flaws, so as a catch-22 to who's in goal. Yeah, I would agree. No pun intended. Catch-22 goalkeepers. Bit of a cheap joke there from me. There we go. There we go. Who would you go for striker-wise? My guy, Ivan Toney. I've been banging this Ivan Toney drum for so long now. I don't know if anyone else is banging it with me. I know Lewis is. Big up, Lewis, by the way. We're on that Ivan Toney train. It's got to be him for me. I mean, obviously, we're going to have to wait to see what the outcome of the betting stuff is. I don't know why it's taken them so long to do that. But yeah, Ivan Toney for me from Brentford. I think he just ticks all the boxes. Physical presence, good at penalties, good finisher, heading, good. Physical presence. He ticks a lot of boxes for me. And the glamorous signing is obviously Victor Osimhen. He's 24 years of age. He fits the age profile. He's banging goals in for fun in Serie A. He's the next big thing, kind of centre forward wise, as it were. Just for me, it's got to be Ivan Toney. That's my guy. That's who I'd want to go for. But again, I think people are holding off going for him because you don't want to shell out 50, 60 million quid, whatever it costs for Ivan Toney, to then find out, oh, by the way, he's banned for 6 months and we can't use him until January, because then we're still fucked for half the season. So we need to establish quickly what the situation with Toney is going to be in regards to when he's going to play. Is he going to be banned? What's going to happen in that situation? So yeah, I don't really know what we're going to do in regards to a centre forward, but I'd look at it and I would say Ivan Toney for me. Victor Osimhen is the glamorous choice. And then you're looking at other ones. I mean, you're going maybe not a big name. I mean, Ivan Toney, I wouldn't really say is a big name in terms of the world of striking. But you're looking at other big names. You'd be looking at people like the next rung down. I'm a massive fan of Kolo Muani at Frankfurt. Really like him as a player, So Kolo Muani would be one as well that I think could do really well. But let's see what happens on that front. But yeah, Kolo Muani I like as well. Again, Datro Fofana, a young player. I don't think I think he'll go on loan next season. If we're being honest with ourselves, Datro Fofana will go out on loan, so I don't think he'll play. Romelu Lukaku, the situation there. I don't know if there's a way back for Romelu Lukaku or not. It depends what the new manager wants to do. I think it's clear that Lukaku doesn't want to be at Chelsea. He wants to be at Inter. But if Inter can't afford him, then I don't know what he's going to do. Play Lukaku to January, then Toney. I mean, fuck knows. I mean, I don't know what would happen there. Who would I like as DM? Rice baby, Declan Rice, and that's not an English bias. That's an honest assessment that Rice is an absolute baller. He's a phenomenal footballer. He ticks all the boxes as a number 6, box to box, gets forward, defends well, breaks play out well. He'd be perfect. But again, I'm a massive fan of Manu Kone at Borussia Mönchengladbach. I'm a massive fan of Romeo Lavia at Southampton as well. And I think there will be scope to bring 2 midfielders in, one main midfielder. I think there's scope to bring in Rice and Lavia, or Rice and Kone, or whoever it is. There's scope to bring in 2 midfield players. When you look at it and you think, Kante's still not signed a new contract. Hopefully he does soon. Loftus-Cheek and Gallagher, one or both of those will go. So yeah, there's space to bring in one or two midfielders. For FFO, we have to sell. No, this is where people don't understand is that like FFP, people love, like the media love to talk about FFP. We don't need to sell Mount, Havertz, and Gallagher or Cho and Cover to make sure that we comply with FFP. That just isn't true. We do, however, need to raise £100 million by June in player sales to kind of comply with FFP. So we do need to sell players, but we've got a lot of players we need to sell, and we'll easily get 100 million. So there's nothing to worry about in terms of FFP there. Nagelsmann or Gallardo? Nagelsmann for me. Nagelsmann is the man. What do you think if we sign Yassine Bono in a summer transfer because it shows its ability in a World Cup? Bono, again, was decent with Morocco. I don't actually know where he plays his club football. Oh, he plays it at Sevilla. I'm pretty sure he plays for Sevilla. Again, yeah, good goalkeeper, but when you're basing players off a tournament, I'm not so sure on the fact that, no big dogs have come in for him. No disrespect to Sevilla. It's not, I'm not sure he's kind of the guy. Every time Chelsea get a big striker, they always flop. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Maybe we need to move away from going for a big striker and just think, yeah, maybe we should be looking at going somewhere else. Maybe the next rung down, Kolo Muani. There's a lot of gifted Nigerian forwards as well out at the moment. Other than Osimhen, there's still good guys there. Guys, let's keep smashing the likes. By the way, over 20 of us in here at the moment, so we're on 16 likes. Let's get another 4 on there, guys. You can do this. It really helps me out. So keep smashing those likes. 4 more likes to go, people. Right, yeah, you do know that Rice would love to play here. He's got unfinished business. I feel, in my opinion. That's the way I look at it. Released as a youngster, and he's gone out. He's earned his stripes at West Ham. If West Ham were to go down, then there really is a possibility that Rice would be available for a lot cheaper. He'd be available for much cheaper if they get relegated. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens with Declan Rice. Yeah, Max, big up. Agreed. Manyan for goalkeeper. How likely that's going to happen to, I don't know. I don't think. Again, Arsenal 100%. Interested in Declan Rice. Yes. Is it Rice's preference to go there? I don't know. And for us, the big thing we're going to have to rely on is that he doesn't want European football straight away, or he's prepared to wait to play in the Champions League. Because if he doesn't want to wait to play in the Champions League, then we're fucked, basically. And he will go to an Arsenal or somewhere like that. So it will be very much between Chelsea, Arsenal, maybe the Manchester clubs as well, for Declan Rice's signature. But yeah, a Rice Enzo midfield would be class next season. I would be all over that. Sevilla, they won't sell. No, probably not. We will struggle to sell players unless cheap. I don't think we will struggle to sell players. I think we've got some assets that are worth a decent chunk of money. The likes of Gallagher, Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic, Ziyech, maybe Havertz. There's a lot of sellable assets there and a lot of players that we can get decent money for. So I honestly feel that we can raise through player sales this summer between £100 to £200 million. I don't think that would be a massive problem. I think we end up with Lavia or Kone. To be honest, I think we can afford both of those. I strongly believe that we need to get 2 midfield players. Because let's just quickly run through these midfield options, right? Enzo, yes. Kante, we think will sign a new contract. Let's lump him in. For me, I'm not convinced on Cover. I would be getting rid of Cover in the summer. I'd be getting rid of Gallagher in the summer. And I'd probably be getting rid of Ruben as well. That's 3 to go out there. And you think, right, okay, there's room for 2 more to come in. I don't think you get rid of... Actually, I'll take that back. Keep one of Ruben or Gallagher. Cover to go with one of Ruben or Gallagher. And then that leaves you with Ruben or Gallagher, Enzo, Kante. You've got room to bring 2 more in. There's a Zakarian deal. That was basically when I was speaking to Ben Jacobs about that not so long ago. Personal terms and a fee, not a problem. The issue is, because of the ongoing conflict with Russia and Ukraine, is that you, under the economic sanctions on Russia, you cannot deposit money into a Russian asset. So the issue is where the money gets paid to. And that's the whole hold up. But the Zakarian thing has gone very quiet. But that was the hold up at the time. I mean, EPL tough. I admire the valuation on Lukaku. We're not getting 40 million for Lukaku right now. I don't think we get 50 million for Kova either. I agree with some of those valuations. I think we can get 2 to 250 for sure. But again, it depends who we sell. Kova will end up at City, maybe. Yeah, Shano, good point. We also have Andre Santos, who will play an important part next season as well. Chukwuemeka's there as well. I think potentially if Chukwuemeka needs to go on loan. Yeah, Cesare Casadei as well, the guy on loan. Do you think Mudryk will play a big role next season? Yes, I hope so. I mean, I love Mykhailo Mudryk. I think he's a fantastic player. Still very raw. Got to learn a lot. Needs a lot of coaching, but raw ability is there. We saw what he did when he came on for his debut at Anfield, and that's what we need to see more of. He needs when you're young and you're learning still. You need a lot to go your way. You need consistent minutes. That's what you need. And at the moment, Mudryk's not getting them. 1 week he's playing, then he's not playing for 2 weeks. Then he's playing. Then he's not playing. You need continuity. You need consistency as a young player. So I'm really hoping tomorrow that Mudryk starts and he puts in a really good performance. That would be my preference for the situation. Mudryk, yeah, I think Mudryk can play a big part next season for sure. In answer to your question, Santos is a DM. Yeah, yes, kind of. I think he is. Yeah, Santos definitely looks ready, and the plan is definitely for him to be incorporated into the squad for next season. Do you think Kai Havertz should be sold? Yes, I do think he should be sold. Simple as that. Just not been consistent, not been good enough on a consistent basis during his time here. Too many what ifs about him. Yes, he's provided big moments, but he's not cut out for the Premier League. And I don't think he's cut out for Chelsea. He'll go on and be very successful somewhere else. He's got a lot of ability, a lot of talent, but at Chelsea, it's not being harnessed, and we're not seeing it. So yeah, for me, I'd cut our losses, move him on, wish him all the best. Everyone is still, yeah. I wouldn't, Daniel. I wouldn't take what people say on social media seriously. If we're being really honest here. Yeah, potentially. I don't really know. There is that potential that could be the case. Right, guys. Let's move this on to the game now. Let's move this on to the game itself. We spent a lot of time chatting there. What have we got here? I think there could potentially be a bit of a team news update somewhere. Early team news? Nope. That's not early team news at all. Anyway, let's get back to the game itself tomorrow. I mean, yes, 100%. Doesn't want to be here. Not good enough. Simple as that. Let's get to the game tomorrow then. Brighton coming to town. This is going to be a really, really tricky game tomorrow. Brighton playing I think they're one of the best footballing sides in the Premier League. What De Zerbi's done there, carrying on the work that Potter and the foundation that Graham Potter left. I think he's done exceptionally well. They play great football. No Levi Colwell is going to be a plus because he's on loan from us and he can't play. So that is going to be a big plus for us in that situation. But at the same time, they've got some great footballers. Alexis McAllister and Moises Caicedo in midfield is a great pivot. Mitoma's having a fantastic season. Dunk and Webster at the back have been good. The wing backs really push on a lot. Solly Marsh is a good footballer. They've just got good players all over the pitch, and they play a really good, exciting, attacking brand of football, and they're going to cause us a lot of problems. And it's as simple as that. And for us, I look at it and I just think, we haven't scored a goal. We haven't scored a fucking goal for 4 games. We're not creating that many chances. What I would say is we're not creating that many chances under Lampard compared to Potter. That's the issue. We're not creating a lot of chances. We're creating a lot more chance under Potter. Like in the two game sample size that we've got under Lampard, we've not created that many chances at all. And that is a bit of an issue. I don't really know what we're going to do about that. But I just, with this Chelsea team at the moment, I just don't expect anything. I don't trust the team to deliver. I don't trust the players to stand up and be counted for and put in a performance on the pitch. There's no evidence from anything we've seen across this whole season to feel any semblance of confidence going into this game or going into any game, as a matter of fact. I fully expect now going into every single game for Chelsea not to win, because that's what we've seen and that's what the evidence is showing us. And until we get shown otherwise, or until I get shown otherwise, I've got no faith that Chelsea are actually going to win any games of football anytime soon, because the mentality's not there. We're not good enough. Simple as that. The players right now aren't good enough. We're not good enough. And the mentality is not good enough. The mindset's not good enough. And ultimately, no disrespect to Frank Lampard, he's not good enough to manage at this level either. So when you've got that situation that we've got there, you can understand why we are in a bit of a predicament that we are in. But, let's see what happens. Lampard's homecoming, things are going to be back before kickoff atmosphere will be great. First, 5 minutes or so, it'll be really good. And then kind of fully expecting once we go a goal down for it to all go to shit like it normally does. But I tried to stay positive. But yeah, the body of work that I've seen from Chelsea this season, the games that I've been to, which is a lot of games this season, no faith at all to see any improvement from this Chelsea team tomorrow. That's my views on the situation. I just don't expect anything from this team right now. But let's get into the team lineup, guys. Keep smashing the likes on the stream. Keep subscribing to the channel as well, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And also vote in the poll that is at the top of the chat on what you think the match result is going to be. We've hit that 20 likes, guys. Great work. Let's try and get it to 30 likes, guys, before we round this stream out after the predicted lineup. Let's get those likes up to 30 now, people. Let's keep pushing. 30 likes, the next target. So keep smashing those likes and subscribing to the channel. Now, I've gone with a 3-4-3 here. This is what I would like to see. This is what I think gives us the best possible chance of trying to get a positive result. So for me, I'm not really that bothered about who goes in goal. I would just stick with Kepa. That's my opinion. Making a change doesn't really make any difference. So you could argue, well, you might as well make a change then, but you could also say, well, you might as well leave it the same. Yes, you can argue that was he at fault for the goals on Wednesday night? Yes, partially, I think so. But I just look at this stage of the season. Is there really much point in making a change? And my answer to that is no, not really. I'm also wondering, is Lampard going to have half an eye on Tuesday night with his selection? Quite possibly, yes. We know that Koulibaly's missing. He's going to be out for this game and the Real Madrid game. And Lampard's saying we're talking more like weeks than days in terms of his situation with that hamstring injury that he picked up. So yeah, I'm going to go Kepa in goal. My back line is going to be Wesley Fofana on the right-hand side. It's then going to be Thiago Silva. And then on the left-hand side for me, because he didn't feature against Wolves, he didn't feature against Madrid, he can't feature in the Champions League. He's been really impressive since he's come in, and for some reason he's just fallen off a cliff and found himself out of the side. Benoit Badiashile, he has to be starting tomorrow. I just don't know what happened. I don't know what's happened to this guy. I don't know how he's just seemingly disappeared off the face of the earth, and it just no longer seems to be in favour. It is a real strange one. I don't understand why he's not featuring. So for me, that's what I'd go with: Fofana, Silva, Badiashile. But I could also make a case for potentially Trevor Chalobah starting as well. We've seen Chalobah feature off the bench in the last two games. He came on at Molineux and he came on in the Bernabeu. Could it be his turn to step up? Could he somehow find himself ahead of Badiashile in the pecking order? I really don't know what the situation is going to be with that one. But yeah, that's what I would go with. Badiashile, Silva, and Fofana. I just want Badiashile to play so we can do that new Badiashile song. Todd Boehly went to France in a Lamborghini, brought us back a centre half. Benoit Badiashile. We need to get that one going. So he needs to play. So that's my back line. Kepa, Fofana, Silva, Badiashile. What we've got available, that is our best back three with the players that are available. So that's what I'm going for there. But again, as I'm saying, guys, I don't know how much of an eye Lampard's going to have on Tuesday night in terms of selection. And is he going to be wanting to play the back? We may be forced to play a back four on Tuesday. No Koulibaly, no Chilwell. And then obviously no Badiashile either. So, like, we may be forced to play a 4 on Tuesday night. So, do we then go with the 4 tomorrow? Personally, no for me. We just got to take each game as it comes. So, my fullbacks are going to be James and Chilwell. Chilwell's obviously going to play because he's not playing Tuesday. And James, I think we just need to keep. Otherwise, who else goes there in this system? I don't think you're going to play Aspilicueta there. You're not going to put Ruben there. So I think we have to go James. And again, I think I'd like us to start with our strongest team, and then we can take players off and rest them as we progress further into the game. I don't think Fofana had that bad a game. Second half, he was much better. Yes, first half he got caught out quite a lot. Vinicius was getting the better of him, but it also wasn't helping that Reece James was not providing any protection for him either. But I thought in the second half that Fofana was actually much improved. So, yeah, I think he didn't have a bad game overall in the Bernabeu. James and Chilwell to start in the wing-back positions, really important. I don't want to see Frank go over the 3-5-2 again because we've got so many wide players. Why would we deploy a system that utilises none of them? And against Brighton at home, we don't need to be going with a 3-man midfield at home in the Premier League. So for me, James and Chile, and the emphasis will be on them to get forward. But because it's going to be 3 up front, the emphasis won't be on them as much to do that. So I'm going James and Chilwell. My midfield 2 is going to be Enzo and Kante. That's what we need to go with. For me, Enzo and Kante as the midfield 2 in there. You could say, would Ruben play there maybe? And he's saying that guys that didn't feature against Wolves or Madrid will have an opportunity tomorrow. I don't know how many. Why isn't my K working? I don't know how many are going to be getting that opportunity. But Enzo and Kante for me, Cover needs to hold the bench. And yeah, Gallagher's not a pivot player, and neither is Mason Mount. And Ruben can play there. So maybe Ruben might play tomorrow. I mean, people say he's a carrier. Yeah, possibly, maybe. But again, he's not featured for a long time now. So I don't know if he'll really feature much again before the end of the season. What's wrong with James? I just don't think he's fully fit. He needs to get this surgery on his hamstrings done in the summer, just so he can start fresh again for pre-season. He just looked a yard off it. We know he's a world-class player, and he will get better. So let's just hope that his form does improve. But yeah, the last few games have not been great from Reece James, if we're being honest. 4 at the back against Wolves, 3 at the back against Madrid and Brighton, then 4 at the back against Madrid. I don't think it's too much to change. I think you just got to play each game as it comes. But I do agree, ideally you don't want to be chopping and changing the system. I don't know why Frank went with a 4 at the back against Wolves. I think the 3 at the back represents our best opportunity to get a result. So yeah, we need to stick with the 3 at the back. It's as simple as that. As far as I'm concerned, I fully hear that that Enzo started every game for Chelsea this season. Every game for Chelsea since he's arrived. He might need a rest, but I think if Enzo's fit, he plays because he's that important to the side. I think it's just as simple as that. I really do. I don't think Silva, Kante, James, Havertz play tomorrow. I think they will. I think all 3 will feature, whether it's from the bench or whether it's from the start. I do believe that all 3 will feature. Kante will be rested from a Madrid game. I don't think I think he still plays. I do think he plays. I do think he plays. Whether he starts or not is a different conversation. But I personally would start him, even if we just give him an hour. I think we should do with it. We need to see Aubameyang or Datri Fofana up top tomorrow, board of Havertz and Felix. Now, I would actually agree with that. I would agree with that. I prefer to see Zakaria, Kovacic midfield tomorrow. We're not going to see that, I don't think. I think it's best we go by back 4 in order to stop Vinny. I mean, we can go back 4, back 5, back 6. I don't think it makes too much difference in trying to stop Vinicius. It's one of the hardest tasks in football. Now, for my front line, I am going to go with. This is where it gets tricky because there's a lot of options here. What I'm absolutely not going with is Raheem Sterling. On my right-hand side, I'm actually going to go Mason Mount. And I think it's time for Mount to start again. He's obviously fit. He got 15 or so minutes or 18 minutes or however many minutes it was at the Bernabeu. He looks pretty sharp when he came on. He did way more than Felix did in his short time on the pitch. And I think it's about time Mount returned to the starting lineup. And in my system I'm going with here, it has to be on that right-hand side. So I'm going to go Mason Mount on the right-hand side there. I'm going to go Mykhailo Mudryk on the left. And up front, I'm going to go. It's basically Aubameyang or Datro Fofana. Yes, bro. Big up. What's happening? Hope you're good, mate. I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do as a centre forward because I feel a little bit stupid sitting here after slating Aubameyang all season and then sticking him in. But maybe I need to swallow some pride and put him in. But I go Mudryk and Mount operating as the wide forwards or the wide tens or whatever you want to call it. And then I just want first. I just want to make one thing clear about Joao Felix. I've been getting cooked a bit on Twitter about the fact that I'm not sure if Chelsea should be signing Felix permanently, etc. Oh, can you not see his quality? This and that. Look, I'm fully aware that Joao Felix has got immense ability and immense talent as a footballer. He's not quite realised that yet. He still needs to work on his end product. He's still got a lot of things that he needs to improve on. And I just look at it and I think your end product's not good enough. And just because we've signed you on loan and we spent a lot of money on you doesn't give you a right to be starting every single game. So I think Felix needs to hold the bench. And that's what I would personally do. I know full well that Felix is going to start tomorrow because he's only here for a short time. We paid 11 million to get him on loan, so he's going to play every game pretty much. But I don't think he doesn't deserve to start. Yes, he's brought a lift to the front line, and yes, his ability and his quality is clear. But at the same time, he's a passenger too often. He just drifts in and out of games far too much for my liking. And and with maturity and with more experience, that will come. But he doesn't influence the game enough. He drifts in and out. He's too much a passenger at times, and the end product's not there. And he's had ample opportunities, and other players haven't. And he keeps getting picked no matter what he does. And that was an all-time disaster class from him and Sterling in the Bernabeu, and that deserves to hold the bench for the next game after that. It really does. And I also look at it, and I just think, yes, I'm more than happy to keep Felix on a permanent basis, but at the same time, one, the fee's got to be right, and two, signing Felix permanently cannot be at the expense of signing a goalkeeper. It cannot be at the expense of signing a holding midfield player, and it cannot be at the expense of signing a centre forward. Only once those three positions are addressed can we then entertain a luxury purchase like Felix, and it's as simple as that. And people are like, oh yeah, but he's so much better than Mount. Oh, Mount only scores against relegation sides. Guys, Felix is not even scoring against these relegation sides. So the things that you're criticising Mount for, Felix is not even doing. But then when it's Felix, oh, we're in a struggling side. But when it's Mount, oh, he's not good enough. So bring the same standards to your argument across the board. Don't just pick and choose your argument to suit the player or to suit your agenda. In the last 13 games, Mount and Felix have got the same GNA for Chelsea. No assists, 2 goals. So, whilst Felix is definitely clearly a more talented player and has got more ability than Mount, in terms of that output across the last 13 games is exactly the same. And, people are forgetting. People think that Mount's a shit player. They just seem to be conveniently erasing the last 2 seasons from their minds. So, Mount's had a terrible season by all accounts this season, absolutely. But is he a terrible footballer? Absolutely not. And we've seen that by the fact that he's Player of the Year for the last 2 seasons. We know that. So it's as simple as that. It really is. It's as simple as that. But yeah, that's just my view on Felix. Anyway, I'm gonna. Oh fuck! What am I gonna go with? Do you know what? I'm gonna go Aubameyang. There, I've said it. Hypocrite, humble, whatever you want to say. I'm gonna put Aubameyang in. This is my team, my front line. I am going with Aubameyang to lead the line. I suspect he'll probably get minutes from the bench, but who knows? There's a possibility that it might not happen. I suspect he'll probably be on the bench, but I would go with him to lead the line, and that's my team. I mean, we look at it and we think, I mean, what do we think? I don't really know. Felix has 14 assists in 94 league football. Yeah, Felix's output, he's never been prolific and his end product's not been great. His output massively needs to improve, in my opinion. It has to improve. Agreed on that. We have Nkunku on top of it. Yeah, Nkunku coming in as well to play as that 10 or second striker. If Enrique comes, he'll play a 4-3-3, which won't really suit Nkunku or Felix. No, it doesn't. It doesn't suit them. But let's wait and see who will be coming. We have to stop comparing players with our shit player. They need to compare with Manchester City player. Is Felix better than KDB? Felix is nothing like Kevin De Bruyne. So they're not the same kind of player. So we also got to make sure that we don't compare players to players that don't play in the same position as well, equally. We would be fools if we sell out for 60 mil, then go buy McAllister for the same money. Yeah, agreed on that. Yes, you are right. In this time, Felix has to be benched because Felix in finishing is poor. And when he agreed. Yes, Nina, how you doing? Hope you're good. Game, you going tomorrow? Yeah. If you are, I'll see you there either before, but definitely afterwards. What else we got going on here? Do you see us scoring any goals? Fucking hell. No. Do you know what? All I ask for tomorrow, even if we lose, which would be shit, can we at least have a goal to celebrate? I mean, I can't remember when we last scored. I think our last goal was in a 2-2 draw against Everton. Yeah, we haven't scored since the Everton game, so no goals against Wolves, no goals against Real Madrid, no goals against who else haven't we? No goals against Villa either. So Villa, Wolves, Madrid. What was the other game that we didn't score any goals in? Oh, Liverpool as well. Yeah, how could I forget that? Liverpool as well. So can we score goals? Yes, we can, even though the evidence doesn't suggest it. Are we likely to score? I've got no faith in any of this team to put the ball in the back of the game. So yeah, let's wait and see. Our league games are so pointless. I don't even care. No, I mean, I said I appreciate that, but I still care if we lose. Yes, there's not much to play for in the league, but I don't want us to just keep collecting L after L after L after L. We can't do that. I want the boys to win, but at the same time, I've got no faith that we will win. Yes, I am going to the game tomorrow. I mean, don't celebrate a goal early. I mean, you can't not celebrate a goal because you think it might be offside. When a ball hits the back of the net in the stadium, you go mad. That's simple as that. Simple as that. What happened to Bruno? I think he's gone. I don't even know if Bruno's still at the club or not. I don't think he is, but there's been no announcement or anything saying that. So I don't really know. But as far as I'm aware, I don't think he's even at the club anymore. That Eve match was almost a month back now. How did we not score a single goal since then? Because we're shit. That is the simple answer to that question. But yes, people, I think it seems like a good way to round this one out. Guys, if we can get that to 30 likes, 6 more likes, people. Let's get it up to 30. Smash the likes on the stream. Last 6 likes before we round this one out. So please, let's take this to 30 likes, people. Get those likes up, guys. That is my team for tomorrow. All that's left for me to do now is to deliver a score prediction. And, oh, Jesus, score prediction. I've got to be honest, I don't feel particularly confident about this one. I think we are, Lampard's homecoming, I want it to all go well and it to be great. But the reality of the situation for me is that I think we will lose 2-1. I think Brighton will beat us 2-1. I think we might score a goal for the first time in 4 matches. So, yeah, that'll be something to cheer about. But I think ultimately Brighton, and this is how far we've fallen, Brighton are a miles better footballing side than us. That's just the reality of the situation. Brighton are a much better footballing side than us, as are a number of teams in the league this season. And right now, where we're at, yes, squad-wise, we might have better quality than our position suggests. But in terms of a cohesive unit and in terms of how we perform as a team, we are a bottom half Premier League side for a reason, because we don't do enough things well enough and we do too many things shitly. That is the reality of the situation. So, guys, for me, I'm going with a 2-1 loss. Let me just see what we've got here. 2-1 Brighton, rain. Assad going 2-0 Brighton. They are fucking good. Fair play to De Zerbi and what they've done there. Cracking football team to watch. Have a stream on all potential manager and their pros and cons. Yeah, I'll give Euro Expert a shout and see if we can get that sorted. I'm not confident tomorrow because we can't put the ball in net. Agreed. 1-1 draw. Oh, will De Zerbi be on the touchline? Oh, I'm not actually sure if he will be. Was there a touchline ban for the Spurs incident? I don't know if there was or not. I can't actually remember. It doesn't really matter if he's on the touchline or not. You know, he's like Brighton can quite easily beat us. So going 3-0. If not, then we're losing against another assistant manager. Well, no, because De Zerbi will just be doing it all, but he just won't be on the touchline. No, we won't get relegated. Absolutely not. 3-0 Chelsea. We will win in order. Be optimistic. Let's hope so. I'd love that. Seems like an optimistic point to round out on with that one, guys. A 3-0 win to Chelsea. Not my words, but I'd love to be proven wrong. But yes, people, I'm going for a 2-1 Brighton win. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It's made things much easier when I'm doing it on my own. Really appreciate all of your input in the chat. Keep smashing the likes on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I really, really appreciate it. On the road to 3,000 subscribers, looking to get there before the end of the season. We're not far away now, guys. So every new subscriber helps us get the likes up to 30 on the way out. We only need 4 more, so let's get there. People keep smashing the likes. Stamford Bridge tomorrow. Frank Lampard's homecoming. Hopefully Chelsea can hit 40 points. Hopefully we can even score a goal. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow straight after the game. Match day vlog dropping. Make sure you check that one out. And then I'll be back with a more in-depth match reaction and player ratings later on when I get home. So stay tuned for plenty of match day content dropping after the game tomorrow. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Have a great day tomorrow. Catch you then. Up the Chelsea.